Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Five Questions with the Paulist. We're going to go to one of my favorite places, and I have to say, one of my all-time favorite Paulists. We're going to Knoxville, Tennessee. He was my pastor at St. Paul the Apostle in New York, where we became really good friends. And Father Bob O'Donnell, congratulations on 50 years. It's great to have you.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine it's gone by. And great to see you, and hello to Marion, and congratulations on your soon ordination as a deacon for the people of God. Great ministry, so it's important. Proud
Thanks
of you.
so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
lots to celebrate. We're a few
yeah,
days away here. And let's
yeah.
get into it with question one. For you, 50 years since ordination, has priesthood been exactly the way you imagined it, or have there been a few surprises along the way?
Uh, there've been surprises, changes in the church and in the world, and in the US have been more uneven than I thought.
Hmm.
I was probably silly, but up and down, back and forth. And then I think about the US and world affairs uh, and even in the church, some things advanced even more than I thought. Other things like ecumenism now is mostly what you do together. We're not going to do too much theology anymore. At least the break is on for that one for a while. And some ordination issues as well have been slowed down. And then other great things with social justice have moved on and done really well. Personally, big surprise for me was getting used to and really enjoying working with college students and in the university atmosphere as where I am now. That I did not expect, and took a few months to adjust, and then, oh, I like this. I'm going to stay with this.
That's great.
Yeah.
But about question two, what's one thing you remember most about your ordination day?
Not much. I don't know if anybody else says that. I remember we're in the procession. We're going by one of the big pillars coming out of the sacristy at St. Paul's in New York. And just as I come out, the music's going, people are standing, they're singing. And I just took that as a big, well, yeah, maybe I am called. And they're calling me by their being there and singing and uh, lifting us up. And the next thing I remember is giving blessings after the ordination mass. I don't remember much in between. I have pictures, but I don't remember it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I just came back from our ordination retreat, and he warned us about that. He said, try to take it all in. He said, I remember very little from my
Yeah.
ordination. He said, but really try to take it all in. So I'm trying to take that advice.
Yeah.
But
Or, or
question,
have somebody take pictures. So
yeah,
you,
exactly, yeah, exactly. Take lots of pictures, right? Question three. Yeah, you're a beloved priest on that campus. What's one way that college students are different now than they were at the past? I know you were at UConn in a former life,
yeah. And it
campus.
was late 70s and all that. And there was still a bit of streak of rebellion coming from the 60s left over, and with religion wanting a
Right.
little more flexibility but still staying mostly with the church at that point. Uh, and I think I didn't realize there were some who didn't like any of this at that point, but they were such a small minority. Now it's a much more mixed bag. That there are lots of students who are more traditional in theology, how they want to worship or pray. Uh, but the same students are not traditional in other ways. It's hard to put it together. And one way they're not as traditional is the ones who are around a lot and active are much more at ease with a priest or a deacon. Even back then, in those supposedly liberal days, there was a certain yeah, these folks are at ease and treat us like human beings, and we treat them the same way. And you joke around and good, and things change quickly. Every 2 to 3 years, it's like there's a new cohort, and they're really, really different. Uh, Good. They're entitled to be who they want, the way maybe we were in the 60s.
Yeah,
We rebelled, they rebelled. Hopefully everybody stays with the ship more or less and sail on.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Question four. You grew up in Brooklyn, and what was the reaction of your family when you told them that you were going to be a priest?
I was very typical of 1960s. Do what you want. And I think there was one level, my only child, they were disappointed and not going to have it, but another level in which they were very supportive, especially my mother. I don't think my father cared either way. Do what you want. Don't bother us. My father would come to the ordinations and sit in the last row at St. Paul the Apostle reading the newspaper. I mean, when you go to 11 or 12 or 13 of these in a row, at some point you've had it. And when he didn't know the people being ordained, but there was, yeah, please do what you want, which is a good, and they meant it and were supportive that way.
Yeah, that's great. And finally, question five, the one that we ask a lot of people. It's a zombie apocalypse. So give me three saints that you'd want fighting on your side against the zombies.
Yeah. First is Joan of Arc, because though she maybe had a spear or sword, she never used it in battle. She just carried the banner of the cross and rushed into battle. And is this a man? No, this is a woman. What's she doing in man's? She would scare the bezoozes out of the enemy, and they'd run away. And I kind of like that. Maybe the zombies wouldn't know what to make of her. Number two, St. Peter, Simon Peter. I knew he had a sword. You got the story in the garden. He used it even, and either he was very bad with it or very good, because all he did was slice off the ear of the high priest servant. So it wasn't killing, wasn't murderous, but it sent a message. But the third one is really the one I really want to have with me. It's lesser known, Blessed Nicholas Steno, 1600s, a Danish scientist who knew biology, circulatory systems, the skeleton, was when it was a Lutheran at that point, astronomy. Then he did geology in Italy, and he's called the father of modern geology. He looked, what are these fossils doing up on the top of the mountain? Oh, this must have been a seabed. Oh, this must have been tens of thousands of years ago. He didn't think of millions, but became a Catholic, eventually a priest and a bishop. But I want somebody who might know something scientific to deal with the zombies, you know. Ultimately, you can't just kill or scare them. You gotta, maybe he'd find some serum to or some potion to calm them down, or officially kill them, since they're already dead, but they're not dead. And you know, they're not dead. What are they? Yeah,
Yeah.
the
The
undead dead. Yeah, so he might be a good one on that. And he's a kind of favorite because he's a very different kind of saint.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I ever heard of him. That's a great one.
No, it's just not too well known. And picked him up in scientific circles, and they all say, "Oh, it was a shame. He didn't do more science after he became a priest and a bishop." Somebody else said they thought he had what do you call it, where you focus or you jump around from one thing to another. He couldn't stay
Oh,
focused.
ADD, like
Yeah,
ADHD.
ADD said he kind of had that, and he actually said that in prayers, "Lord, help me to stick with it." But he did great with each thing and moved on, and he wasn't going to stay with geology at that point. He had enough, and now he's doing theology, and then becomes a bishop, and he was assigned to the Hanseatic League, Protestant cities, northern Germany, to care for Catholic sailors, seamen. Well, he would also go around the city and take care of poor sailors, people who were trapped with the Catholic merchants,
Oh,
rich people in those cities complained to the Pope, "Get him out of here. He is a disgrace. He's in the streets. His cassock is dirty." So they brought him back to Italy, and he was made a bishop. And you know, he was appreciated there, at least caring for people who were down and out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, three great saints. Father Bob, 50 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So great
Yeah.
to see you again. And how are you going to celebrate?
Well, it's mostly going to New York. I'm going to stay around for a few weeks, see individual people. It's not like other than here, this Friday night saying goodbye to students, Father Don Andrews' 30th anniversary on my 50th combined, but not doing anything big, invite, etc., because there aren't people to come to it anymore in my life. That's one
Oh,
thing. When your last the 50 years, other than at the parish you're at. So that'll be plenty. And New York,
Yeah, sure.
familiar territory.
Well, you enjoy that. And
You.
everybody else has been 5 questions with the Paulist Fathers. I'm Mike Hayes. He's Father Bob O'Donnell. We'll see you all again next time.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.